The corporate media isn't even hiding it anymore. The corporate propaganda media in the Western world is so disgusting and dishonest. It employs double standards all the time. Heads I win, tails you lose. In Michigan, the progressive anti-establishment candidate is Abdul El-Sayed. They downplayed and discredited his win. He was expected to win by double digits, but only won by 1%. I'll explain why he only won by 1%, despite being expected to win by double digits afterwards. Here's Fox News saying Abdul El-Sayed did not win by the huge margins he was expected to win.
Hong is expected, like Abdul El-Sayed, to win by huge margins, but as we saw, El-Sayed did not win by huge margins.
Here's the New York Times, in which one of its garbage writers wrote, quote, "But after polls predicted a double-digit blowout, it ended up being a narrow win, less than a single point, as of this writing." Here is Politico, run by a German Zionist corporation. The headline reads, "Progressives didn't get the big election night they wanted." Here is NBC News. New, Abdul El-Sayed wins Michigan's Democratic Senate primary. NBC News projects clinching the nomination in a close race over Representative Haley Stevens. Firstly, what the corporate propaganda media did not tell you is that $65 million was spent against Abdul El-Sayed, a record against any single candidate in a primary election, by his corrupt Epstein-class opponent, Haley Stevens.
I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams.
Abdul El-Sayed was outspent 12-1. $32 million of the $65 million was spent by Zionist groups, which is why we need to get money out of politics. Corrupt pro-establishment politicians are buying election results they have no business receiving. This race should not have been a close race at all. They also won't tell you that in the Democratic primaries in Michigan, you had registered Republicans voting against Abdul El-Sayed because Michigan is one of 14 U.S. states with a bonehead open primary law. Now, let's take a look at neighboring Wisconsin, which had their election a week, exactly 7 days after Michigan had theirs, where the progressive anti-establishment candidate was also expected to win by a large margin, but lost by 0.05%, half a percent. The pro-establishment candidate won. And look how the media, instead of mentioning how the pro-establishment candidate won by a narrow margin, chooses to shift the narrative. USA Today, Crowley pulls off stunning victory over Hong in Wisconsin Democratic primary. NBC News, how David Crowley pulled off the unbelievable, winning in Wisconsin after dropping out. Francesca Hong, a Democratic socialist, entered the primary for governor with a polling lead, but several missteps, so they're blaming her now instead of mentioning that Crowley barely won, and a key phone call pushed Crowley to the Democratic nomination. Here's my favorite from Zionist terrorist propaganda Fox News. Democratic establishment strikes back as socialist candidate downed in battleground primary. And the Western corporate propaganda media wonders why A, younger generations don't watch them. The average age of people who watch the news are in their 50s and in Fox News' case, 60s. And B, the trust in the corporate Western propaganda media is at the lowest it's ever been.
Israel comes to me in my dreams.